Welcome, everyone, to the latest episode of The Testing Room, where three of the gaming industry's best video game consultants who have never actually consulted on a video game bring you new topics each and every week. As always, I'm Alex, aka The Gosfather.
I'm Christian, aka Sudowoody45.
I'm Preston, aka Funkadelic Jedi.
Yeah, we got Christian back this week. A lot to talk about in terms of games that we played, I'm sure. But before we do that, let's take a trip over to Preston's comment corner and see what's going on over there.
Yeah. Christian's over there smiling.
Mm-hmm.
Got a couple of comments. First one, both these are going to be from the last prologue. But first one is from Jake. Howdy, fellas. So I am a fan of Formula One racing, and the new season starts this weekend. It had me thinking, what are your favorite racing franchises in video games? I'm a big Forza fan, but there have been a ton over the years, like Midnight Club, Burnout, Need for Speed, Project Gotham, etc. Have any of you played those games, and which ones do you like?
So, one, I did not know that Jake was a fan of F1. That's very cool. What a fun fact. Secondly, Burnout and Need for Speed are my favorites.
Yeah,
Good.
I don't know if I have like franchise favorites. I have favorite games. Like, I really loved Gran Turismo 4. I really loved Dub Edition of Midnight Club, and I really liked some of the. I would say if I had to choose generally, it'd be Need for Speed because there was a long stretch of Need for Speed games. I think everyone played from Hot Pursuit to Underground 2, and all that other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would say like Midnight Club Dub Edition, and then Gran Turismo, and then a few of the Need for Speed stick out to me.
Yeah, like, I played some of those. Like, I played Midnight Club. I didn't really get into it that much, but I played it. I think I would put Burnout for me above Need for Speed only because I think that Burnout has had less stinkers than Need for Speed.
I'll say less
That's just because
stinkers, yes.
well, I mean, even just across its franchise, like Need for Speed has a lot of games, and a lot of them suck. Like, there's, like, both Underground games are good. There's a couple Hot Pursuits in there are good, but people forget, like, especially back in the day, like there was like 7 Hot Pursuit games made. Like, there's a lot, and people only really remember, like, I think it's like 2 in the old days, and then like the most recent one, which I remember Alex and Travis have some really good stories about of Alex fucking over Travis as they were playing.
Right.
And then, but like, I think that there's a lot more like of Burnout games that were like just in general like good because there's just, but by virtue of there's just not that many that were made in comparison. But I think Burnout Paradise or Burnout 3 like Takedown are probably my favorites. I'm not really into like the sim racers though. Like, I know Preston's super into them with Gran Turismo, and then did you ever dabble in any of the Forza sim ones like Motorsport?
I dabbled in it, but I am a big Turismo fan, so if like I wanted that, I had that on PlayStation already.
Yeah.
That and there's just something about Turismo itself, like the vibes, like when Persona has like the most style. Gran Turismo has an incredible amount of style for like a racing sim.
Oh yeah, you definitely can spot a Turismo game like when it comes like it's
for sure. They look incredible, they play fantastic, and like just like the music and the menus and everything about them have just been a lot of fun. Last one was very good. Outside of what microtransactions it had and whatever bullshit they were doing with that I didn't mess with. I really liked Need for Speed back in the day. I had the original on PlayStation on PC. And me and my friend used to play that on a dial-up connection. We'd call each other on the phone, put it on speakerphone, and then connect with our dial-up connections, with cell phones, by the way, and then kind of go that way. Because we would tie up the phones with everybody, so we could only play at night. But that was fun. I mean, you have very few tracks, very few cars in there. So after a while, it just ended up being, okay, well, now we're just going to drive the opposite direction in these races just to have fun and bullshit and do weird stuff. Then Hot Pursuit came around, and we had a lot of fun with that one. Again, still a dial-up connection, so not the greatest in the world, but we still played some multiplayer with that. Cops and racers and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. Burnout Paradise is an incredible game. If you want like arcade, just crazy bullshit, Burnout Paradise is probably the best game for that. Now, I didn't play a lot of Forza Motorsport, but I did play a lot of Forza Horizon games because I like those.
Horizon games are good
because those are a little bit more bombastic. Like one of the last ones, like they had you like racing in a giant hovercraft down like the entire like island or whatever you're at.
Yeah.
And it was very, very cool. Like I love that kind of stuff. So I'm definitely more of an arcadey guy, definitely more of a sci-fi arcadey guy. But every once in a while I like to dabble with the Turismo or like just something a little more realistic. But yeah, Need for Speed has just been a disappointment going down the line recently. I can't even remember the last one I played, but I did try
those underground games though are so good.
They are. They're very good, but like, why don't you just do that? You can still do your open world thing if you want to. It'd be a lot like, I guess, Grand Theft Auto or however they do the races. But yeah, you customize your car, make it look all Fast and Furious and shit. Like that's a winning ticket right there. As long as you don't swarm it with microtransactions and a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, which they would.
Which they will nowadays. Yeah, 100%. So
I went back. I went back and played Dub Edition Midnight Club probably a year ago, like when I got some of the preservation stuff set up, right?
Yeah.
I was playing the PS3 version, and that game's hard. Like the whole thing takes place at night. Half the time it's raining, like, and you don't realize how bad those graphics are compared to today. So like when you go back to play it, the reflections are terrible. Like my eyes could just not keep up with the race that it was back in the day.
Some of it is the preservation system that you're playing on, and it doesn't do the resolution correctly, and so it ends up making it look a lot choppier. Like if you were playing it on a PS2 plugged into a CRT, it would clear that image up a lot for you.
But yes.
But you've got your preservation box and it's playing it a certain way. So,
you guys ever get into Project Gotham? I had a friend who had.
I had a buddy who was into it. I just never played it.
The Xbox racer.
Nope.
Back in the day. But
I honestly, like, I had those franchises. I never played Forza. I never played Burnout. I mean, I had friends that played Burnout, so I played that occasionally. But like,
Burnout was the coolest to me because it was always like you were racing and the objective was to race, but also if you got to make other people crash or you did like cool things, like the explosions and the damage to the cars and everything, it was all so good. Yeah,
it's a lot of fun. A lot of dumb fun. All right. Well, Jake, appreciate that. And then we got one more comment from Mr. Christian less than an hour ago. Man, fuck y'all. Every time I go out of town, it's time for everyone to lie on my name. This is crazy. LOL. First of all, I never said it was blasphemous to take more than one weapon into Monster Hunter Wilds. I have no idea where that came from, LOL. I have 2 different greatswords on my character this very moment, LOL, period. I'll like to start to say that I didn't say just like 2 weapons, but like 2 different types of weapons.
Either way, I never said that.
You recommended that I probably shouldn't do that. You recommended.
I didn't say that. I certainly never said it was blasphemous.
Well, we didn't record the conversation, so there's no way of knowing.
No way of knowing.
Secondly, there is a difference between roguelites and roguelikes because Preston even spells it out. One lets you keep some form of progress and others do not. Alex can roll his eyes all he wants, but there's a reason he likes games like Hades, but then would gouge his eyes out before he plays Binding of Isaac, and he knows it. Hugs and kisses to both of you.
Yep, 100%.
So,
and he knows it because he's tried those games before, and he's fucking hated them, but he's put 100 hours into Hades.
Here's the clarity that I need on this. When you see the Hades trailer, it says roguelite, but there is unlocks, right? You do unlock weapons as you play through the game, so there is something that has progress in that game.
Yes. Alex was incorrect in saying it is a rogue like because it lets you, or light because it keeps because it lets you keep progress. There's weapons that you keep. There's also currency that you keep between runs to be able to spend it on other unlocks and different things like that. You get to keep some form of progress in Hades, whereas a game like Binding of Isaac, you keep nothing.
So, I mean, I can Google it again, but I'm pretty sure roguelike is the one that gives you progress, and roguelite.
Whichever one it is. I don't remember which one it is.
So the issue is that when I looked up the definition, roguelite was the one that has no progress. But when you watch the trailer obviously they could be wrong, but when you watch the trailer and even you said yourself, like it says it's a roguelite, but it has progress.
Yeah, I'm not.
That's the only thing that kind of throws me off. Other than that, I can, yeah. If anything has any type of progress, I call it a roguelike. Anything that has just pure run
Yeah,
based. No
rogue like is you start fresh every single time, and light LITE is
Gotcha.
the one that lets you keep things.
Okay, fair enough. All right.
Yeah.
Completely interchangeable to me.
It's a
They're
light
not
version
because you don't
of
play.
rogue games.
Then you should play them interchangeably, and you should play some other games because you'll like them all the same.
Maybe. I mean, I'm in the
Well,
middle
you
of a game
won't
right
because I
now.
already know that
I
you
will have
don't.
time. You never know. There's
Yeah.
no way to know.
There's no way to know except for
No.
you saying out loud, "I don't. I hate these games."
There's no way to know.
Yeah.
All right, but that's it. Christian, appreciate your comment.
Mm-hmm.
Good to have you back. I was thinking about going over the big game releases of the month. I'm sorry about being late on this, so I will start off with games that are coming out when this episode comes out. Other games have come out this month, obviously. I'll go through them real quick as far as like just little ones that I want to point out. So games that are already out this month, you got Age of Mythology Retold on the PS5, Carmen Sandiego, Everhood 2, Nights in Tight Spaces on the PC, 2 Point Museum, Frag Punk, Split Fiction, Suikoden 1 and 2 HD Remaster, Gate Rune and Dunham Unification Wars is the full title.
It's a big one.
It's a big one. Rise of the Ronin came out on PC. Wanderstop, Metal Bringer, PC and PS5. And it's WWE 2K25, MLB The Show 25. Now coming out starting March 19th, Kiniku Niku, Super Muscle Cat, Assassin's Creed Shadows on the 20th.
Yup.
Cataclysm.
Make or break
Oh,
my
I
fantasy
know.
league.
I'm just
Flush noise.
Hey man, I'm just happy that Death Stranding got a release date for this year at South by Southwest, no less. Rendering Ranger.
That was a choice.
That was a choice, but it's an obvious choice with Kojima.
Yeah.
It's a choice because you can go, oh, I know that actor. Oh, I know this actor. That kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, that's probably why I did it. That and he just wants to rub elbows with the Hollywoods.
He does.
Roller Coaster Tycoon 3 Complete Edition coming out on the consoles March 20th. Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition comes out on the Switch the 20th. Atelier Yumiya, The Alchemist of Memories and the Envisioned Land comes out on March 21st. Bleach Rebirth of Souls 21. Killing Floor 3 on the 25th. Grit and Valor 1949 on the 26th. AI Limit on the 27th. Blue Wednesday, Bubble Ghost Remake, Atomfall, Gal Guardians, Servants of the Dark on the 27th as well, Instruments of Destruction, the first Berserker Kazan. Yeah, I mean, it kind of looked cool
I
at
was
first.
so disappointed by that game.
Yeah, once I found out what it was, I'm like, I'm good.
Yep, that demo bummed me out.
What kind of game was it, Christian?
It's like it's like a take on a Souls like game. It's like Neo almost. It's yeah. As soon as I played it, I was like, I wanted it to be more like an action game because the way the trailer looked
Makes it look
looked
like Devil
like
May
it was
Cry,
about to be
yeah.
like Devil May Cry all day long, and then you go to play it and it's like Souls, and you're just like, I'm good.
Bonfire and shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Venus Vacation Prism, Dead or Alive Extreme comes out on PC, PS5, PS4. Winning Post 10, 2025. Dollhouse, Behind the Broken Mirror. Castle of Shikigami 3. Lethal Honor, Order of Apocalypse, thank you. Is not those last two don't have an actual release date, but they're supposed to be in March. Yeah, I tried Shikigami. It took me a second, but I started saying it. I'm like, I've heard that before. But yeah, those are the games coming out in March. I will do better with next month. And yeah, I think these lists are going to be probably getting pretty big. I may just start doing my own list so it's not as big and convoluted. So that's Comic Corner.
Cool.
All right. Well, we can dive into our weeks.
Yeah.
I had one big game that'll cross over with Christian, but I also played another game that won't. Preston, how big was your week?
It's pretty
Why don't
beefy.
we save that game for the very end? I
we do
think
it
we
for the
all
very
three
end?
know what. Yeah, we'll do it because I got a lot of things to say.
Might want
and
to do a
I'm
little
sure-
light spoilers kind of deal.
Yeah.
Then I'll go first because I played one game then this week, if we're not counting that one. I picked up Split Fiction with
Yeah.
Allie. Played some of that. So I think we're about halfway. We're through 3 chapters. I think there's 6 or something. I didn't fully look it up, but it's somewhere around there. It's good. It's really, really good. I enjoy the story. I enjoy the characters. I think it's better than It Takes Two because, mileage I guess may vary. Like It Takes Two is about divorce. This is about friendship, but like without, it's building friendship because they don't know each other when it first starts. But It Takes Two is beholden by its world being like these two parents were shrunk into a house, right? So like you ran around the house, you ran through the walls, you ran around the yard. This, because it's like working with these girls' stories, like they're authors, so it actually works with their stories. You're wide open to do whatever you want. So there's multiple different sci-fi worlds, there's multiple different fantasy worlds, and there's different takes on these. And because of that, like the bosses feel different, the environments feel different. They've done some really clever things like movement and navigation and other stuff. So far, I think it's really, really good. I read some reviews where people were like, "Oh, you can just skip the cutscenes and so on," and I think what they meant was like there is an overarching story of like how these girls end up in the situation they're in where they're living each other's stories. Then there's the underlying story, and you could probably flip those around, which is like them building their friendship and what's going on in their lives, right? And I think people are like the overarching story you could kind of skip. I disagree. It is a little kitschy at times. It is a little a little campy at times. So I get it, but I think as a whole it tells a pretty fun story. And it's just different. So yeah, I so far I think that Split Fiction is fantastic. It'll probably make my top 10. It won't be in the top 5, I don't think.
Yeah.
But like it is a fun enough game and a well done enough game that I think it can make the top 10. It's also gorgeous, by the way. They did a great job with that. But the 2-player is fun. They also had this, I don't know if you guys have seen it, it's been kind of rolling around social media. There's a mini game where you're on the back of a motorcycle and you're trying to get in, like, it's a phone mini game. And it starts off with like you have to scan your face and then you have to like swipe and so on. And it gets to the point where you have to start doing captchas, like real life captchas. And it's really funny. Like we're in the middle of it and I was like screaming with Alex. I'm trying to figure out how to do like the camera and do the swipe and everything. And I'm like, oh my god, it's a captcha! She's like, what? She looks over. I'm like trying to find the school bus like in these pictures and so on, but it's great.
Did you see the comments the creator had to the woke female agenda that some of these reviews are coming out with?
No, I
It's
did
great.
not, thankfully.
As you can
So what
imagine,
happened?
he had a very fun comment to that. This is the fuck the Oscars guy. What the fuck is this? I guess that's somebody reacting that there are 2 women. Let me say this. In Brothers, there were 2 guys. In The Way Out, there were 2 guys. In It Takes Two, there was 1 guy and 1 woman. And now there are 2 girls and everybody's complaining. Come on, man. Let's face it. This is based on my daughters. I don't care what you have between your legs. That's totally not interesting to me. Good characters are what is important. It's just fucking hilarious that he's like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, I've made multiple games with multiple dudes. I just decided to make 2 because I have 2 daughters. Fuck off. I'm like, yeah.
I
haven't seen
I
any of
hate
those
these
comments,
people
but
so much.
I'm glad. Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, fuck those reviewers. No one should be giving them the time of day, but it's just funny how he commented on it. That's it for you?
Yeah, that's it.
Well, I've played even less than Alex. I've played no games. I've only played
Outside
the
of-
one game that we're going to talk about, so I have nothing else. The only thing that happened was while I was gone, I tried to watch more of Steins Gate so that I could finish that show and then finally start Free Ren on Preston's recommendation. So I'm trying to make my way through that show. That's it. I have done nothing else.
Fair enough. So we're all going to talk about that game at the end of this episode, and then we obviously have the View Game Book Club game we'll talk about later on this week. At one point, I shelved Crisis Core.
I heard.
About a week went by. I was sitting down, had a little bit extra time. I'm like, it's still installed. Like, let's pop it on. Let's just play like an hour or so of it. I got a little bit further in there. I may still kind of go at it just because it's a nice, when I want to play just like a basic kind of a game, but nothing like crazy. Like, I have read out 2 there for racing and stuff like that. But sometimes I want like a type of like RPG or action game or whatever you want to call Crisis Core. So I started it back up, got a little bit further. I got to Angeal's boss fight, which I'm assuming is like the midpoint of the game, roughly. Or maybe close to the end, I don't know, with Christian's reaction.
But you are, yes. So, do you remember when I told you that
Genesis,
there was...
and then I'm about to finish the fight with Angeal.
Right. Do you remember when I told you that there was going to be something that happens that then will change that character from being like a to like a more... You are about like 15 minutes away from that.
So I'll keep doing that. Got to a point, I've been doing a lot of side missions. A lot of side missions in here are like, you go to the save point, you press the triangle button, you choose one of the side missions that teleports you. You play like maybe 5 minutes of a section just to fight some enemies, and you're done. You get some cool items sometimes. The main thing is experience. So you keep on shaking your head. I went after Angeal at level 16, and he has a charge attack that I can't block or dodge, and he can destroy me.
Well, that's why I would just put it on easy mode and just like that. I wouldn't even...
I thought I was. But I'll double check. So that being said, I spent a couple hours just because I had some time, between, some work things. And I spent that, went from 14 to 26 as far as levels.
That'll do.
So I'm just going through all of them, and it's giving me materia and stuff I can fuse together. It's giving me more accessory slots so I can kind of, put more items on there.
It does. Yeah, they do. Like, unless you're playing on easy, it does expect you to go do those because it's from the era of like, go grind it out, get your levels up, do the thing. I know you hate that though.
I do.
So I would not continue to do that. But
no, I'll check my settings. If I can drop it down to easy, I will. But yeah, that's off the shelf and back in my hands, so I'm still going at that. Empire at War. We're playing more of on the Star Wars Sundays. Twitch.tv/testing room live around.
Also
Central Standard.
Speaking of the Twitch, when I was listening to this week's episode, or last week's episode, I should say, our outro still uses the old Twitch handle.
I know. I've been meaning to ask Alex to make me a new one, or I was gonna make one myself. I just keep on forgetting to do it, and yeah.
But yeah, so I also heard on that episode that Star Wars is also hovering over the shelf.
Well, Empire at War is hovering over the shelf. Star Wars itself,
Empire at War. Sorry,
never. So Empire at War, it was getting a little rough. I'm getting tired of like me trying to do something. Time goes by. They start attacking another planet. I'm like, you know what? This game might not be for me. So I played a little bit more yesterday. We started getting some movie beats. So, we went after the tentative. I think it's 4 or 5. I can't remember off the top of my head. But that's Leia's ship at the beginning of A New Hope. I played that one match, that one like galactic battle, 3, maybe 4 times. Having issues. Luckily, a veteran of the game was in the chat. Shout out to Ewan if he's listening. Kind of let me know, hey, you need to do this. Hey, maybe you should do this. Hey, you probably need to do this as well. Because in this one, it was defeat some...
He just guided you through the whole game, is what it sounds like.
He's guided me through this level for damn sure, because I didn't know what I was doing. So there's a ship in there called a Vindicator that is supposed to have like it's supposed to have an ability to stop ships from going to hyperspace. So you got to stop Princess Leia from going away before you catch her. So you kill the pirates. You're supposed to hide in the nebula while the rebels come in and do like, try to get the data. When they do that, you're supposed to hide in the nebula. I get out. I hit my one ship to do like the whatever the fuck the ability is, and then one big ship to go and use the tractor beam on her. I'm trying. I'm not getting it done proper. He finally helps me out with that. I finally get her. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, the mission after that is you finally get the Death Star. I'm like, dope. We're going after Alderaan. All right. Go to Alderaan. And this is not necessarily a space battle you're going to win, but you're trying to give time for the Death Star to get close enough for you to be able to destroy Alderaan. It gets there. It's like, Death Star's ready to fire. I'm like, cool. What do I do to fire the Death Star? I don't know. It's not a selectable unit, so I can't just like select the unit and use one of its abilities. And I'm looking around like, what the fuck is going on? So I fail that mission because I don't use the Death Star and all my ships die. So I reload it. He was like, bro, it's on your bar. I'm like, where the fuck on my bar? I was looking around. You have to deselect all your units, and then that bar has like a little switch that you would click on, and that fires the Death
Oh.
Star. So I got there. I'm like, okay, cool. Well, in my mind, it was I want to at least get to the Death Star thing, and then if we need to, we can shelve it. I did a little walkthrough look at. I just have to defeat 5 more planets, and I finish the game, or at least the campaign for Empire at War, the Empire side.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's not that far.
No, I'm gonna give it one more shot. We're gonna see how we do with a planet or two this coming Sunday. If that doesn't work, or if we do finish it in time, I do have a game that is gonna be what I'm gonna consider my in-between game. Because on May the 4th, I want to start up, or I'll be out of town, but around May the 4th, I want to start up Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Because that's a great game. I haven't played it in forever, and I definitely want to showcase that one. It's the anniversary of it. But in between, once I get done or shelve Empire at War, I am going to start up a free-to-play game called Star Wars The Old Republic. It's also an MMO.
Oh.
So I'm sitting there, I'm always seeing it there. I'm like, it's
We will
free.
lose Preston forever.
And I just want to create a new character, do a little dabble, see if my character's still there, and just kind of see what the free to play experience is. See if it's, if it's gonna hold me back, then maybe I don't play it through. But if I really like it and I want some extra stuff, I might pay for whatever the small monthly fee or whatever it is for it to play it when I do go back to it in between these games. So keep an eye out for that. I'm sure I'll have a sweet intro with all the CG cutscene clips put through there. So
They do have some good ones.
they have great CG cutscenes. But yeah, I'm excited to possibly get back into that. But yeah, we're gonna continue on with
Preston,
Empire at War.
what is the small monthly fee?
I haven't checked. There's a $15 thing there that gets you that kind of go through. It's the same as like Final Fantasy 15 or 14. I'm sorry. But you get some extra, like you get like these cartel credits, whatever DLCs there, kind of stuff like that. So it's we'll get into the depth of it. I'll pull up the Steam store when I start up that game. I'm like, this is what the difference is. I'm gonna play free to play for a while, and then if I feel like I want to or can, we'll go ahead and be the paid.
I just
version for it, too.
I just
Experience
wondered if it was
boosts,
as
things.
gross as Elder Scrolls Online, because Elder Scrolls Online is disgusting.
How much is that
Really.
one? I know we were looking into it.
I think it's also like 15 or 20 if they want to do, but it's not that part's not the gross part. The gross part is the free to play experience. Like you log in and it is just like I think
Gotcha.
like 8 or
But they're
9
like-
windows pop up.
But they're like, do you want to do like, oh, it'd be pretty cool to like go visit Morrowind and do this like mission or like quest, right? And you're like, yeah, it would be. And they're like, yeah, that's gonna be $7, please.
Yeah, they like it's like 7 or 8 windows,
Probably
and it's
missions.
like all these different nickel and dime opportunities that they try to get you
Oh,
on.
thank
But
you.
then like Morrowind isn't included in the base game now, but like also it's like become the base game. So when you go to like load in, it like doesn't like the story of Elder Scrolls Online doesn't start anymore. Like you don't get to start wherever the game is like actually starts from. It just like tosses you into Morrowind. And then you're like, okay, but I don't know what's going on, and I don't even know, like, there's no tutorial anymore. There's no, like, this is what a quest marker looks like. This is what this is. Like, it's just like, boom, here, you're dropped in. Here's 8 windows telling you to buy shit. And you're like, okay. Like, it is, like, so, this was years ago when I had tried, same with Alex, when we had tried it, but I don't even.
It wasn't that many.
I was still in St. Louis when it happened.
I remember you guys talking about it, like, hey, we're thinking about it, and then you're like, you know what, Preston, never mind, don't worry about it. We just looked into it. It's
Yeah,
not
it took
worth
us about 30 minutes to figure that out.
So I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
I have played the free to play version of it before. It was years ago. Like when it first went free to play, I'm like, okay, well, fuck it, I'll jump in and see what this is all about. It wasn't super bad. Like I remember the initial levels that you go through. I didn't feel impeded. I didn't feel like I had to grind or anything like that to get the experience, because you do get like either experience boost or normal experience when you get the paid version. It's one of the two. But I want to judge it. I want to find out. So keep an eye out for that. But still, in the meantime, we're playing Empire at War. Play some more Redout 2. Your boy is a Class A racer. So I have finished over 80 races to get to that Class A license. And we're in there, and I am getting better with the turns. I am finally starting to kind of get the hang of it. I'm still bumping here and there, but like now instead of me like just like really like brute forcing it into a wall, like I'm gonna select little tap, little boom. I'm like, okay, all right, not as bad. So it's a fucking fun game, man. If you guys are a first time listener and you haven't heard me talk about this for the past 2 or 3 weeks, if you like F-Zero type of games, fucking play this game. It's rad as hell and looks gorgeous. So that's all the games I played. I did watch one movie. So when we do those video game book clubs, I like to get a movie that's like either referencing or like is like a adaptation.
Like Alex is about to be excited.
Do you guys know who Snake is named after?
No.
It's named after Snake Plissken. Do you know who that is, Alex?
Is that Escape from New York or something?
It is Escape from New York, right? Yep, named after the Kurt Russell character Escape from New York.
Oh, never mind. I thought you were going to say that you watched a Mission Impossible movie.
Oh, no. I probably should.
I know Alex loves those.
Yeah, so this is going to be based off of... His name is based off of that. Nothing else is really based off of it.
Nothing else works, so...
I mean, to be fair, it is like an old like army vet who says fuck the government but gets pulled back in to do like a mission kind of deal.
That is Snake.
But in a post-apocalyptic New York City that's trapped inside of a wall. And
that part's not like Snake.
This was like 7 years after the movie was made, to where like the crime in America has jumped by 400%. Manhattan has become a walled-off prison, and they will shoot to kill if they try to get out.
So today, 2025.
So yeah, for today, the president's plane goes down by a terrorist group. And now the president is captured by these, prisoners. This whole area of Manhattan is just full of a bunch of fucking crazies. So it's an interesting movie. It's not the greatest movie in the world, but it is a fun, interesting movie to go through. It's just a little over an hour, so you're not wasting a whole bunch of time either. But it's interesting to see an older Kurt Russell movie, and it's a classic that people talk about all the time that I've never seen myself. So it's nice to see.
When you were describing this movie, in my head, I was like, this has got to be a Kurt Russell joint. Like, it just, in my head, it sounded... So when you said that, I was like, well, there we go.
Yeah, very early movie for him. So it was interesting. If you're at all, like, interested or have heard of, it's worth a watch, for sure. And it's very short, so you can get that. I think... God, where did I have to watch it? I think I had to get it through Vudu because none of the other streaming services have it. To put it on there. I saw Escape from LA is somewhere in there. I think it's on Hulu. But everyone else just doesn't have it.
God help the world whenever your Vudu account goes down, because the amount of fucking crazy ass pull movies that you have on there, they might get lost to time. I don't even know.
I know. Well, who knows? I mean, let's see. It was the Blu-ray UV Ultraviolet is what it was called at one point.
Yeah.
Walmart bought them, and that's Vudu, and then now Fandango owns it. Now it's just the Fandango app.
Preston resets the counter. Like, there's movies that are about to fall off these servers. So, like, nobody's hit this in like 4 years. And Preston hits it. It's like, oh, reset the counter.
Yeah, it's like $5. I'm like, fuck it. I'll buy it for $5. Why not? But yeah, that's my week.
Cool. Well, so yeah, I think we can get into Monster Hunter now. Before we get into our thoughts about the game, because I know we want to do that. I have something that I need to get off my chest about this video game.
Before he starts, I want to say we're going to go into light spoilers for like the first, let's say, half. We call it low rank. But for the first credits, we'll feel free to talk about that as much as we want.
Yeah, this part is not what I have to say here, and you guys will, I'm sure, will agree, and we'll get into it. But this part will have no spoilers. This is more so me complaining about things, and depending on how this video gets titled, who knows? Maybe we might have another clickbaity fucking video on our hands.
Titled after this,
depending on who I piss off. Yeah, depending on who I piss off. So there's been some discourse about Monster Hunter Wilds, about people shelving this game for one reason or another, mainly 2 reasons.
Performance.
And going back to either older titles or whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I think one of those reasons has merit, and the other one is just like one of the most like brain dead takes that I've ever seen. So I'll get the easy one out of the way. If you're a person who does not the game is not running well for you, or it is like performance issues are stopping you from enjoying it, and you want to shelve it until they clean that
There's a
up.
lot of performance issues.
Yeah.
That is
Yes.
absolutely fair, and you are totally 100% within your right to do that, because the performance issues for this game, especially on lower end systems, is borderline like unacceptable. It's very bad. And the three of us, are lucky enough that even with Preston's rig, I think you're at 2070 Super.
You're right. Yeah.
But if we just count from Preston's machine, we are still within the top 10% of Steam, of machines that have Steam on them.
And mine is an older
So-
card, but it's still a good card.
Yes. But that's what I mean, is even with your card, we are still in the top 10% of Steam
10% is
users,
pretty wild. That's
which
pretty
is
high.
crazy considering the amount. So like we are coming from a place of like, yes, the game runs good for us, but
No.
that's not fair to put on.
I think the word you were looking for is a place of privilege.
No, I mean, yeah, sure, but it's just like, I think like the game, like and we still have issues. Like,
Oh yeah,
there's
Textures
still
pop
plenty
in
of
every fucking
performance
time.
issues.
I fought an octopus-looking dude that was jaggy and all sorts of fucked up.
Yep.
Faces are elephant man looking when I'm talking to somebody for the first
Yes.
like 30 seconds, and then it just
And then they
clicks
whoosh,
in,
pop
it's like, okay,
in.
there
Yeah,
it is.
I know, it's
Jesus
so
Christ.
But like the game is still playable.
It is, which is why
on
we're still
our
enjoying it, because as
right.
long as we can play it,
exactly.
that's why we play the game.
But there are plenty of people whose machines don't barely even
Really?
boot this game,
Oh, okay.
let alone make it be playable. Like
It doesn't work on Steam Deck, that's for sure.
right.
No.
So I don't.
No. And I've tried many different things, and like I play it through Apollo. There's other things that I do, but I will say, even going some of those streaming ways,
It's still rough.
I am a mad person for putting up with even
Yeah.
some of the performance things that I get
Yeah.
in those ways of playing. Like I would never expect a normal human
We do
to put up with what I'm putting up to do.
And there's even some things that we can do. Like I've seen, like I'm gonna try this later, like probably either tonight or tomorrow. But there is, and I might send the link to you guys just in case you want to try it. But there's like things that people have found in the configuration files for this game that you can change that sometimes will lead to like a 20 to 30% boost in performance, which is crazy. Because like right now the game like only uses a certain amount of cores of your processor as opposed to just all of them, because why wouldn't you? But it just won't. So little things like that. There's tons of things that can be done. All that to say, if you're a person who is just like, hey, it's not running well and I'm not having fun and it's not feeling good, so I want to wait, God bless. I'm sorry that it's not running well for you. That sucks. Capcom absolutely should have figured that out, especially because the benchmark was running well for everybody, and then it just like clearly the final product was not matching all of the different open world shit that happens.
It's also crazy that like the benchmark ran as well as it did, and it doesn't match, but also the power they're able to push on the Switch, right? Then you actually get powerful machines, and you can't optimize that game.
Well, the thing is too is like I think the reason is because the benchmark does not have any of the open world stuff that is happening. Like all of those calculations of like where monsters are going to be, what they're doing, all of that has to be running the entire time in the background, because for instance, you could have 3 people, 4 people in an environment link running around, and if we all run in 4 separate directions, those everywhere needs to be able to be populated and figure out what's happening, and it can't be not working for some person and only so it has to be going in all the time. There's no way to benchmark that, so I get it, but also man, I don't know. You should have sent out some. You should have done some extra research. I don't know. Figure it the fuck out. But the performance is rough, and I don't fault anybody for that. The other thing is that we've been seeing so many people talk about this game being either I don't know too easy, or they're oh, they've dumbed it down and all this other stuff, and it's created this thing that I can only attribute to how people's attention spans are so destroyed now that they don't even remember things that happened 6 years ago when World came out, or or even closer when Rise came out, and because people are like one of the main complaints, or all complaint I should say, that I've seen is like people saying like, oh, the secret, like your mount thing will run straight to a monster. It like takes all that like searching out. Yeah, guys, I don't know how to break this to you, but in Iceborne, when they introduced that mechanic, the little tail riders, they would ride you straight to a monster. You didn't have to do anything. It would just take you straight there. As a matter of fact, you couldn't even control them. It would just take you there. And there wasn't a single complaint about that. In Rise, with the dog, it would also take you straight to the monster, but you could also control it. There is no complaint about that. For some reason, the fact that we have a chocobo doing it for us now is like end of the world, full baby mode, whatever. We've also seen people say that the hunts they're too short, and like it makes me feel like I'm going crazy sometimes because I'm like, guys, the only part of this game that's out is low and high rank. And I know that you probably don't remember this because it was so long ago, but like when you go through the base versions of these games, they don't take that long. Like, and I can say that as somebody who, on this very podcast, Alex and I just said that we went back through World and went through all of World and Iceborne. So that's low rank, high rank, and master rank. And that took us 40 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, I think that all of us for low and high rank for for Wilds, I think we're hovering right around the 30-ish hour mark.
Low rank was 15-ish, yeah.
Right. So that sounds about right. Like, if we're going to be sitting there for low and high rank to reach about 30, and if low rank, high rank, and master rank took us about 40 on World, then, but also it's wild to me that people have been discovering themselves getting good at a video game, and then they're shocked when they continue to be good at it. Like, there are people who are here.
They're learning in real time.
Yeah, like World was their first game, and then, which is a lot of people's first game.
Yeah.
But
Accessible.
they would, like, there are people who are actively like so close to the point where they're like, I put 500 hours into World and I put 400 hours into Rise, and I don't like, but it's crazy that I'm just waltzing through fucking Wilds, and it's like, well, yeah, you've been playing the series for almost 800 hours, my friend. Like,
It's gonna be good.
I would hope that you are good. And also, if you've been playing the same weapon that whole time, like in my particular case, like all I've been playing is Greatsword, I would fucking hope that I know how to use a Greatsword against a Rathalos at this point. If I don't,
since the DS.
like, dude, like, I'm just saying, like, that's what I'm saying is, like, there's people who be like, I've been playing light bowgun all this time, and I'm just like walking through monsters, and it's like, well, yeah, because you know how to play the weapon,
You're a badass.
and you know the monster that you're fighting. There's only a handful of monsters in Wilds that are like, quote unquote, new to Wilds,
Unique.
and haven't been in either World or Rise, and so it's like, I don't know, like, it's just like, I don't know another way to explain it to you, but like, this is what happens when you play a game for a long time. You just get good at it, and it happens with, and I hate to like break the fourth wall for you, but like, it doesn't just happen with games. It happens with everything in your life. If you just like do something over and over again for hours and hours and hours, you'll become proficient at it, because that's what happens. Like, they'll get so mad about this that they're like, well, and I actually saw there was a content creator who was very upset about this whole situation. They're like, I'm going back to Generations Ultimate on the Switch because it's the last of the old Monster Hunter games. I'm going to go back, and we're going to get a party, and we're going to get into the game, and I'm going to show everybody how long it takes. And they finished a hunt in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. And they were like, oh, I guess it wasn't as long as I thought. Yeah, you want to know why? It's because when you first picked up Generations Ultimate, when you didn't know anything that was going on, it took you forever because you were still learning the game. Now, you've got that game, World, Rise, and this one under your belt. It's not shocking that it only took you 2 minutes and 30 seconds. It's how the world works. And these games have never, ever done that. Like, the games always launch with low rank and high rank, which are basically easy and normal, and you beat the shit out of the fucking monsters. that because it's you learning the game and learning the new mechanics of the game, and then Master Rank comes out and you're like, oh, this is finally fucking hard mode, and then you get your ass beat. All three of us went through Rise like crazy. We had absolutely zero problems and never died all the way up until Sunbreak. Then, when Master Rank came out, we finally started getting our ass beat by Valstrax, who was crashing down like a fucking rocket and exploding everywhere, or Magnamalo fucking being able to do crazy shit all of a sudden, do like a third of your health bar off of one explosion. But before that, it wasn't that bad because we had already been playing and we were able to figure it out. Like I don't I just it feels like this game, and it feels like this happens all the time now, but it feels like people make up expectations that can't be met and then get mad when those expectations don't get met. Like you're yelling about this game not being something that it was never going to be in the first place, and then being mad when they don't meet your imaginary expectations. And they're like, well, but low rank and high rank are easy. Yeah, they always have been. Every game. So unless you were out here complaining every single time, I don't know what to tell you. But it's just insane behavior. The only thing that I will say that I think is a fair criticism about like any of the new systems is that I think wounds on monsters are too easy to get. Like they pop up all the time,
It staggers them.
yeah, and there's not like so like with the new guard clash and the new offset mechanics, those have just like statuses like sleep paralysis and whatever. Those have a threshold that get higher and higher each time you do it, so that like yeah, when I first do a big giant parry, it sends the monster flying. But next time it takes 3, and the next time after that it takes 7, and then after that it doesn't happen anymore. And same thing with the guard clash. Whenever that is not the case for wounds, wounds pop up constantly at the same rate, and you're able to hit them and stagger the monster with them, get extra monster parts, whatever. I think that wounds should follow the same thing as everything else, where they have like it's like a gradual increase each time. Other than that, but I also don't think that like would really change how quick these monsters are going down. They're still going to get their fucking asses beat because it's low and high rank, and it is just what it is. Like, and I've seen plenty of new people. Like I've went and watched, like, and we have our own evidence of this with Travis, who was on last week. I've been playing missions with him. He gets carded left and right in wilds. Like he's dying, monsters are catching him unaware. He's getting his ass beat. But you know why? It's because it's his first Monster Hunter game, and he doesn't know what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
But we all know what it looks like when Rathalos. Like we all know what it looks like when Rathalos is about to do a flip and hit me with its tail. I've seen it before. I've seen it 100 times. I'll see it 100 more. I know what it looks like. I'm gonna be ready for it. He doesn't, so he gets smacked up by it. It loses half his health, and he's like, "Oh shit!" And he's trying to. But it's just insane. It is like the discourse around this game and other new games. I think people seriously need to like look in the mirror for a second and like I do some inner soul searching to figure out what the fuck is wrong with them, because they have got it's just crazy behavior. Yeah. So I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I've been seeing this discourse and it's been really pissing me off, and I've been wanting to talk about it.
I mean, I'm enjoying the game. I haven't really noticed a lot of that. I know there's like mixed reviews and stuff like that as far as people's performance. But I haven't really heard much of the. I'm not paying attention to it. Of the.
I mean, there's a podcast that we listened to that one of the dudes was complaining about this.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't see it very often, but the thing about Monster Hunter is like, yes, there are things that even we can complain about, but the gameplay is still there. We can still play it, and we love to play it. So we're having a good time, and I can just look past a couple things here and there. I do feel it's getting faster, but also, like you said, this is my 3rd Monster Hunter now, so I know what the fuck I'm doing, which is why I chose the bow gun, because I wanted to just change it up a little bit for myself. But still, yeah, we're going through them pretty fast. But like I said, like, it's low rank, and high rank is normal. We're just waiting for that master rank for us to have our shit pushed in, and for us to have to try multiple times on one monster, and that's how it works. Is how it's worked for the past couple of games. So
yeah, I only know 2 things to be true. 1, this game's incredible, and 2, it scored me 20 points in our fantasy league. That's all that matters.
That's true.
That's fair.
That's all that matters.
So to get to this next part, yes, I also think this game is incredible. Even performance issues aside, which are bad, but
I mean, I'm Hunter rank 97 if that tells anybody anything. So like
I'm
even
80 something, yeah.
I think you're 80
80 something, yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like I'm putting the time in, regardless of the issues that happen constantly. It's still a great game. It's not slowed me down.
We're still
no. Yeah. So for new mechanic stuff, I think the offset attacks and the guard clashes are so cool, and I'm so happy that they're there. I'm glad that there's still like because I was really worried about like, well, what are we going to be able to do as far as like, because that the wire bug stuff gave us tons of options for stuff in Rise, and it made it so it was an improvement on the weapons from World, and so I was like, man, I don't know what they're going to do, and these sort of bridge the gap where it's like, okay, cool, like I still have options now, like other things that I can do with this weapon.
Other moves now.
Yes. So that was very cool. I agree with both of you guys because I know you guys talked about it last week. There being an actual story in this game is awesome. Like I love the fact that our hunter talks. I love that there is like an actual narrative that goes through, even if I think the child in this game is so annoying. But I'm happy that it's there. I'm happy the story's there. I think all of the locales are like so good, and some of them are like the best they've ever done. Like my favorite still out of all of them is the Scarlet Forest, the second area. I love that forest area so much. Like all just the way that it looks and all the different areas and the different things like going
after
underneath
low rank too, because like that's when you finally get like time of day changes like that. Most of the beats
Yeah.
in low rank are story based, and it just seemed kind of dark, and like in some of the areas it just seemed like not fuzzy as far as quality of graphics, but like there was haze or there's fog or something like that, and then it kind of just threw you off a little bit. But once you get into high rank, like you get that one initial credits run, it changes everything. Like that forest looks 1,000 times better.
Yes.
The desert area looks much better. Like it's just there's an improvement once you hit that high rank. But yes, it does even look good in low rank.
Yeah, all those look good. I think all of the weapon changes. I mean, there's some weapons that I don't play, so I can't speak for all of them. But all the weapon changes for the weapons that I mess with, I think are great. They're awesome. So Preston, I haven't had a chance because you were talking about it last week, going back and forth between gun and longsword and all that other stuff. Have you settled on where you think you're gonna go? Because dude,
whatever I want, whenever I want. I got longsword. I got heavy bowgun. I started working on everything. It was heavy bowgun for all low rank. Once we hit high rank, that was kind of like, okay, well, I want to make a decision. Heavy bowgun was fun, but I just didn't feel like I was doing as much. Not necessarily damage wise, but like just what I was doing in general.
It wasn't as active.
Usually staying back, usually kind of popping shots off here and there. Like if I'm doing solo stuff, sure, I got the shotgun spread kind of deal. I'm just dodging and shooting, dodging and shooting. But I'm like, you know what? Let's just see how longbow goes. If I am to change, it needs to happen right here at the start of high rank. So I started with the longsword again. Or not started with it. I started longsword up in high rank. And I'm liking it. So at first I was kind of worried about it because there's no wire bug stuff. So a lot of stuff in Rise of the wire bugs was like your parry. You'd put up some crazy looking fucking wire bug shit, and then if they hit you, then it's your parry and you go at them and you kind of hit them real hard. I didn't find it anywhere. I started deep diving in some videos, and some of the moves I was pulling off are counter moves. Mm-hmm. So anytime I sheath my weapon and I can do one ability that I jump out and do like a slash, there's like a little delay slash behind me. I was doing that. I'm like, what the fuck this is doing? That is a counter move. If I do that move, if I sheath it, as soon as I see an attack coming my way, I unsheath it, do that move. It will do a super fucking heavy hit. And then I think if you're in like your spirit gauge further, because with the long sword, you have like meter essentially. To where you got basic, you got yellow meter, you got red meter, which is like your high end, which you do more damage. There's different combos that happen afterwards as far as some of your abilities and hits. So I finally got all that working, and it feels very, very good. I'm still in like hunter rank like 19 or whatever, but I haven't played a whole bunch of that because I tend to play with you guys, and we haven't had a whole lot of time to play together.
So the reason that I was wanting you to go back to longsword is because there is a move that I saw that I was like, oh my god, I know Preston would dig this if he was doing it, which is when you're mounted on a monster in this game, you are creating wounds, and then when you do it to bring them down, like normally in Rise, you would try to slam it into something or slam it into another
Yeah.
monster. In World, you would try to slam it into a wall to do that. In this game, you can bring them down by doing a special move, it's like a giant like ending attack
The
essentially.
right bumper, I think is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you do that, like so for Greatsword, for instance, you slam the sword into the monster and then like drag it all the way forward, like across its back, and then do a big ending slash and it's over. With Alex's weapon, he slams it in, like spins around on it like a stripper pole, and then like shoots off, and it brings the monster down. Preston's is the most, or longsword I should say, is like the most anime move
done
I've
it.
ever seen. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, where there's these like he does a giant amount of slashes, does these things, and then like front flips off the monster, and then the monster's like standing in the back, like sort of like staggered, and then he puts the blade away, and as soon as the blade goes away, all the slashes go off and the monster falls down. It's like, oh, it's
And the
so good.
camera angle's a little low. Your character faces the camera when you do that whole, because it's an anime thing towards like slow sheath and shink, and then that's when all the hits go off. I'm like, yeah.
Oh, dude, it's so good. It's like the most anime weapon in there. Like it's like that and dual blades now are like
Dual
so
Blades is nuts.
absolutely crazy.
Yeah, dual blades
Um,
people fly. Like
yeah, it's still like the way that the dual blades work, where it just like magnets your character to it, so you look like you're in Attack on Titan is cool. Um, yeah, man. Yeah, there's just I don't know. This game, I think, like it's exactly what I want. It's all really good. I love all the new changes. Obviously, I'm excited I'm excited for April for the title update to get Mitsune in there. Preston's one of Preston's most hated monsters. Um, and I'm excited to see what they add. I just can't wait. I'm excited to see some of the new monsters that they add before Master Rank comes out. I'm excited to see whatever the hell their next expansion is going to look like, because that's probably going to be bananas. So yeah, I'm excited. I think it's great.
Oh yeah.
I've been super. I think Let me look. Actually, I can pull it up here and tell you. I'm at 63 hours.
Yeah, I think I'm around 20 something.
Yeah.
But yeah, no,
I am 70.
70. Okay. So I've been enjoying it. Like I said, I'm gonna be going back to the longsword, but I've not just been introduced because they've had this in other games, but like I've started to use loadouts. Usually,
Yeah.
what I would do is I would just like change my weapon to have whatever affinity I need to battle the boss, or not boss, the monster. But with this one, I'm like, okay, well, we can have two weapons, so I'll have loadouts. So like, I'll have my armor set for the bowgun, so that way it does the things that the bowgun needs to do for like, because all your armor sets, for those of you who don't know, have like special abilities for
Yep,
each
and
piece.
skills that
So when I
match
get
certain
my longsword, I
playstyles.
want stuff that does sheathing, like quicker sheathing, things like that are more attuned to longsword. Same thing with heavy bowgun. But I'm really curious when they do drop that Mitsune, like, what if I take my bowgun out and I just start popping all them bubbles? Will it pop the bubbles for me, or is it just going to go through the bubbles? We'll see. I'm curious to see how that. 'Cause if that pops the bubbles, that's a game changer for me. Because fuck them bubbles. But yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's great. I just wish I had more time to play with my friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have
All
anything you
right.
want to add to that,
Well-
Alex?
No, you guys said it all. I mean, like I said, I put 70 hours into it. I'm finding it hard to find a complaint. Like beyond the graphic stuff, right? There's only one thing I don't love about my current weapon, because I love everything else they added. Like they made getting all my buffs way easier. They made dealing with the kinesect way easier. I like the attacks. My combo is kind of long, and I'm having trouble nailing it down because my combo is like it's like a light. The normal combo used to be like light, heavy, which just that gave me everything I needed. But with this new one, to get your special move, it's like 3 light sets it up, and then you do your heavy, but it's like a heavy forward attack, then a long press on the B button or circle, which is a second heavy attack, but like not just like tap to do heavy, like you long press it, and then it's like L trigger pull and attack. I'm just having trouble getting it down. I don't know, like I don't know that combo is absolutely necessary because I made it this long without mastering it, and I'm killing everything. But everything else that I love, like that they've done with my character, and then I really like some of the quality of life stuff they've done in this game, whether it be like just better status build up bars along the top of your character, whether it's if people drop, then you'll still be able to add people in the SOS. And they can join time, which is crazy. Using the binoculars to hunt gold crowns that Christian and I have been doing. Like they made a ton of quality of life stuff that I love too. So I have very few complaints.
Yeah, my longsword also has like a hold down for that B button, and he's kind of his sword kind of goes around real slow, and then when you let go, it goes after it. So it's just nice.
It's one of those things.
When you guys talk about combos and stuff in this game, by the way, it always cracks me up because greatsword is just hit it once, hit it again, and then hit it the hardest, and then you're done.
Well, that's kind of how glaive was. It was just a bunch of fast attacks, but then when you get to 4, the 5th one would be the heavy, and that was a combo. But now, like, there's a button command, and with everything else going on, and the fact that like you're super nimble, so I'm trying to focus and hit like weaknesses or wounds. I'm trying to dodge the attacks. I'm kind of squishy, and pull off a combo. It's a lot, and I don't know that for me it was needed, but otherwise, like, I love the glaive. It's what I've always played, and it's great.
I think my favorite addition is the focus. So like using the left trigger to be able to focus, because it used to be like I'm doing my combos are going forward, right? So if the monster's moving around, I gotta stop my combo, turn around. But now if I'm doing my combo, if I'm moving my camera view while I'm in the middle of my combo, those moves will start moving with my direction.
Yeah, with focus mode,
and I fucking love that focose mode. So it's that has been
I love focus
super
mode.
nice because now I can just continue my combos without having to like reposition myself. Obviously, the dude flies off to the other side of the little arena we're in. I'm gonna have to move, but like, if he just does a little jump back or something like that, I just turn my ass around and combo continues.
Mm-hmm.
In old games, we used to miss a lot.
Yeah.
Right. Because things would move, so that focus mode helped us.
It does
a lot.
lot.
That's it. Yeah, I love it.
Great game.
Cool. Anything else for our weeks, guys? Is that all right?
It. The episode 1 game.
Cool. Well, thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. Don't forget to tune in later this week as we are going to join you for part 3 of Metal Gear Solid. We think about 5 parts. There's some fun stuff that happens in part 3. I'm excited to get I'm excited to hear some Preston thoughts because I sent Christian some thoughts and he was like, "Don't be a effing baby." I think we're almost the exact words, so we'll see. But anyway, join us for that. We'll really get into part 3, and with that, Preston, you know what to do.
Thank you for listening to another episode of The Testing Room. To catch up on past episodes or to check out the newest ones when they drop, follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your favorite podcast. If watching is more your thing, check us out on YouTube, youtube.com/@thetestingroom, or watch us live on twitch.tv/testingroomlive. To leave comments or ask questions, you can follow us on Instagram @testingroompod, leave a comment on YouTube, or send them in to testingroompod@gmail.com. See you next time.